Chip Martin, he's gone and written down the little...
The jingle that signifies another reading from Carl Pilkington's diary. Got up and put the radio on. I listened to the story that the vicar read on Radio 2.
Yeah, that could be good.
He was saying how Jesus was 33 when he died. He said he was more into the idea of doing a lot in your life than living for ages. This was linked to the news about the doctor who's come up with some stuff that he's been injecting himself and his wife with that makes you age better. I looked it up on the internet. It wasn't worth them doing it because they are already old looking. I don't know why people want to stay looking young. You can wear a bald head better if you're old because hairs are replaced by wrinkles.
That's drivel.
No, it's not drivel. It's
Pointless.
just
A pointless entry to a diary, that.
it's not, because that could be like an important bit in like world history.
What?
The fact that someone's trying to make people not age. Age is good, isn't it? When you see an old
That's been
person.
going forever.
What has?
People trying to age better.
No, but he's talking about if you're 90, he wants people to look like they're 30. And that's not good, because how would the world run when that's going on?
Well, I agree. But
when
again,
people-
it's not a revelation.
If I like chatting to old people, because they know a lot of stuff. So if I'm sat on a train and someone's old, I'm happier talking to them about...
They get up and move after about 10 minutes.
Well,
No,
he likes
but
the fact
they-
that many of them are infirm and can't.
Yeah, they have to stay there and listen to this one.
But yeah, even that means that they're getting more out of life in a way, because they don't move about as much, so they have more thinking time. It is weird how that happens to you as you get closer to death.
Jesus.
You know, you're not working as much because you're resting, and you can think back about your life, and you can think, oh, I had a good one. Actually, it's not been that bad. Whereas if...
But you must have started that now, because you've been doing nothing for the past 3 months.
Yeah, but I'm just, well, that's, like I'm saying, it is a good thing for you to do, to sort of think about what you've been doing with your days and your weeks.
And how
stuff.
do you assess your life so far? With all this spare time you've had in your hands and moping around and moaning about your illness and just sitting round, right? You've been introspecting, have you?
Yeah.
Go on then. What have you come up with?
I haven't come up with anything. I'm just, I'm just, I have an all right life, and things are changing.
Oh, keep saying that.
No, but you don't know how much they are changing, to the point of, I don't know if I mentioned the squirrel eating Mars bars, but from that, from that happening to monkeys opening bottles with lids on them, to, it's mental out there. It's madness what is going on. And all I'm saying is old people need to be old people. You need oldness. You need to see old people. You need to go, right, they might have a solution. They've been on the earth longer. Quick, we need an answer. How old are you? I'm 32. Well, you look 78.
I don't know what you're saying! I don't know who that conversation was with, why you got angry, and I think you made the opposite point that you were making at the beginning. If you say you're 32, you look 78, no, you were saying about it'd be a problem if you were 78 and looked 32.
Well,
I don't know what you're saying. You came down the wrong side then. You did that whole thing and you bollocksed it up again in your brain.
I'm just saying, either way, you need to have people who look old. Otherwise, who's in charge?
I don't know what you mean.
Right.
So you say you're saying it'd be alright to make 78-year-olds look 32 as long as there were some 32-year-olds that look 78, as long as you've got old-looking people.
No, but say
Can I
like...
tear this page out? Because it's worthless.
What I mean is, when I went to the doctors,
Oh.
I saw the specialist, right, about the kidney stones. I was asking him all the straight questions.
Go on.
Is it life-threatening?
No.
How long am I going to be out? All
Couple
the
of
rest of
days.
it, right? Now,
As it turned out, it is life-threatening and you've been out for 3 months whinging about the fucking thing. Strange.
Now, he was quite old. He looked about 55. And that reassured me in a way. In a way it didn't, because he's one of them doctors who didn't open his eyes much, and I kind of thought, I hope you
I
open
don't know
them
what you're talking
wider.
about. What do you mean?
What?
What do you mean he didn't open his eyes much?
One of those sort of doctors who's either that overworked, that he does that, when he's tired, so he's going, right, what we're going to do is, and he's doing that with his eyes shut, he's talking
Well,
like that.
this is radio.
I know, but I'm telling you, so you can see.
But people are meant to be listening to this.
But if they can't imagine me with my eyes shut...
Well, tell him you got your eyes shut. Just say he had his eyes shut.
Yeah, he had his eyes shut.
Had he been reading this? Bored stupid, I imagine. He's just trying to get a...
But do you know what I mean? Or I don't know if it's because he's tired or if he's that educated that some people know so much you don't even have to look at it.
You don't know what you're talking about.
Intelligent people.
Who is so educated that they don't need to open their eyes?
You see it, you see like...
Who's that bloke up there? Is he blind? No, he's been reading too much. He doesn't open his eyes anymore, doesn't he? No.
Old people who you see wearing tweed and what have you, and they're really posh and they talk, and whenever they talk, their eyes are shut. And they
I
open.
don't know what this observation is.
I don't understand why you've never seen that.
I've never seen an old, educated man wearing tweed who doesn't bother open his fucking eyes.
Steve,
I
have
don't
you?
know what you're talking about.
Steve, have you seen? Do you know what I mean when people don't sort of open their eyes when they're talking to you, and it can be quite annoying because it's like they're saying, "I'm not interested about you sat there. I'm not bothered if you're listening. I'm saying what I'm saying because I say what I say." And it can be quite annoying.
If he has got his eyes closed, he's probably just trying to absorb what you're saying and think carefully about
probably.
it, so he doesn't misdiagnose
I'm not having a go at him.
Well, it sounds
I'm
like
just
you are.
saying he was 50 odd, and I was happy that he was there telling me.
I don't know why you were watching his eyes when he was telling you about your insides.
Because you can tell a lot by people's eyes. That's what I said about jellyfish. But, you know, just lines in a face tell a few stories, and I don't think we should get rid of them lines.
Brilliant.
Wise words.
Well, here we are, number 5 in a series of 6 of the Ricky Gervais Show with me, Ricky Gervais, Stephen Merchant.
Hello there.
And Carl Pilkington.
Alright.
Well, Carl, you are officially a published author. Your book came out, The World of Carl Pilkington, and a copy will go in the British Library.
Will it?
Well, they
Yeah.
have to take every rubbish. I think it'll go in the British Library lavatory. From
Yeah,
what I understand,
yeah.
it'll be in there with like a collection of like novelty postcards and maybe
exactly.
a Viz compendium. But, you know.
Yeah, so they take everything. Just think of that.
But is that a rule they set up when books were more important to people? And now it's kind of like, oh, I wish we never said we'd do that.
Well, they have to add 2 miles of shelves every year, apparently.
That's what I mean. Now, surely, you know, they change a lot of other rules, don't they? They used to allow people having their head cut off. And now they've gone, we shouldn't do that anymore, so we'll sort that. Why don't they just say, only so many books a year, make it in there? Ones that are important to the future.
But who knows what's important to the future?
Well, you know, normally, when I say something that I think's a good point...
Yeah, but you're always wrong.
No, but what I mean is when I say something that I think I have got a point there...
Yeah, but you're always wrong.
But why do they do this? Why do they think they've got to keep everything? Because we're living in a world now where everything is sort of binnable, and you know we use stuff
Binnable.
for what it is.
Well,
I think you could say that.
Oh,
It's
that's fine.
binnable,
That's
yeah.
fine.
There was a sort of poetry to it, but I think he stumbled across that. I don't think it was intentional.
Yeah, I mean, I still haven't got over last week him saying foodage.
Do you know what I mean, though? That the world's changed, so why is that rule still hanging around when...
Well, it's not a rule. I mean, it's not a rule that you know the country's going to live and die by. It's just that it is seen as a repository for knowledge, for information, and I don't believe any old Joe can wander in there and get one of these books. I think you have to either be a scholar. I think maybe it's open for a brief window for students, but you know, you can just wander in there and see your own book, Carl. You know,
There are
even though you're
some
public.
books that they have to turn the page for you in gloves, so the amino acids.
I'd hate that.
Yeah, with yours, it won't matter. They just go, it's over there, or they throw it to you.
No, it's just...
Or they slide it along the floor.
They say, "Oh, I can't give it to you, Carl, because it's propping up this desk."
Yeah, they kick it to you and say, put it in the bog when you're finished with it.
It's just that thing of being timed, though. I hate it when people go, oh, have you read this? And then I can't read it properly because they're thinking I'm taking ages here. Do you know what I mean? So I have to scan read it. And I go, oh, it's good that. And they go, what do you think? And I go, oh, about what? So I hate the fact that someone stood there with gloves on, because that isn't normal, relaxing sort of reading, is it?
But it's not, you don't go in to read the Doomsday Book, let's say, in order to just have a relaxing read. You're going in there to study
There
it,
are
you know,
certain,
historically.
say they're professors and scholars and scientists and historians. They don't wander in because it's raining and they go, what's a good read?
There's not a man wearing white gloves turning the pages of the latest Jackie Collins.
Exactly. Do you have heat?
Watching your lips move as you read to see if you can turn the next page.
White Stripes, Seven Nation Army, that jumped twice. I apologise for that. You're the producer, Carl.
Yeah.
It jumped twice.
Well, it's not my fault if people are slipping around because of burgers on the floor. You're trying to squeeze my head when the song's playing.
What difference does that make?
Well, anyway.
Right. Don't take any. Right. I've just got some grapes there. We've counted them out. What's the record then?
Okay, well, the most grapes eaten in 3 minutes, you've got 3 minutes, Carl, and you've got to beat Matt Hand from the UK, who consumed a total of 133 grapes in 3 minutes on the 8th of November 2001.
Right, there's 150.
So there's 150 in there.
Right.
Okay.
So you've got 3 minutes.
What are the rules?
The rules
You just
are...
gotta eat them and swallow them, and it's like Cool Hand Luke, right? You gotta just stuff them in and don't choke, because I got worried with the burger. That's a good advert for McDonald's, isn't it? Not only was I impressed by the cheapness of them, but he couldn't even get one in his mouth.
Yeah.
So, value for money there. Maybe they'd like to send us some free stuff.
Yeah, free, or just money. Any some money would be good.
Next week, Carl, you're eating Sony Walkmans.
That's right. Yeah.
Available for... right, Carl. Right, I think this is gonna be good, right? What we're gonna do, right? We've got Song 2 by Blur set up. We know that's 2 minutes, so you can play that, because that'd be boring radio hearing Carl choke, wouldn't it, for 3 minutes?
Exactly.
So, when I say go, Carl, right, I'm gonna go right on the minute, right? You've got to have a handful of grapes, and you've got to press Song 2 by Blur. When we come back, you'll be stuffing your face. Hold on. You ever do that? How can you work the buttons?
I can do that.
No, I don't think you can. You cannot touch the grapes until the opening note
Yeah,
of
but
Song
hold
2
on.
begins.
When Blur 2, when Song 2 stops, can we just press up the fader? So because you'll be stuffing
Don't worry,
your
so
face.
we're almost, let's go, if we go,
Okay.
any second now.
Okay, right,
You're
okay.
ready,
3, 2, 1, go!
And he's off. That's good work from Carl there. He's approaching it cautiously to begin with. Cautiously. And he's keeping well, let's just, let's keep him... Come on, don't make him laugh, Rick. He's choking. Oh, Carl!
Quick!
Keep going, Carl.
Come on!
What happened? Did he just throw up?
No! Don't make him laugh!
Oh,
Come on!
we can make wine. Come on, Carl. You're doing so well, mate.
I want to go. Come on, only...
Why are you making him laugh? That was a world record attempt.
Come on. He's over the...
Keep going.
Come on! You got 25 seconds! Come on.
Oh, I think that was a shame actually, because you were doing well, but something went wrong.
I know, and I think those are bigger grapes than the ones I've seen before. They're quite big grapes. Look at his face, he looks so despondent. Come on, Carl, 8 seconds. Just a few more.
5,
Come on, what's the matter?
2,
2, 1.
It's all over, Carl.
It's all over. We better count how many you did. Just to... you can get good at this. We can get good at this over the weeks.
I think that was a fairly pitiful attempt, actually. I really thought you had a... It's interesting, actually. These are harder records than you might think.
Yeah, I know. 6, 8, 10...
How do you feel after that record-breaking attempt?
Not happy with that.
What are you not happy about?
The fella who did it, was he in hospital and just had loads of grapes and was bored? I'm sure he wasn't producing a radio programme, that's for sure.
Well, to be fair, neither are you. What was tricky about it? What did you find hard?
I think having Ricky standing over me,
Yeah.
sort of shouting, "Go on!" isn't normal.
No. But that wasn't...
He hasn't eaten any! Hold on. That's 50 there, too.
That's quite a poor attempt then, by the seam of it. Would you think about trying to maybe do that again in a couple of weeks? Would you do
No.
some practice and try that again?
No, leave it. Leave it for the experts.
And I noticed a tricky point. Maybe sort of when you had about 50 seconds to go, you seemed to be spewing things into the bin. What was that?
Again, mainly Ricky standing over me, sort of.
88. He's
What?
got 88 left.
Okay, so what's the mental arithmetic there? Because we put how many in? Was 150 in the thing, wasn't it?
What did I say? What did I say I had left?
Well, I'm not doing it again,
88.
so...
He had 88 left.
So, 62. God, you're only at 62. What's the matter with you, Carl? There's people start you at 62. That is rubbish.
That's disappointment.
Let's leave
So
that.
you failed on 2 world record attempts there.
That's 62, and the record's at... That is rubbish. What were you doing?
And when I was out last Sunday, right, at Johnny's birthday party,
Yeah.
Steve was there,
Yeah.
got talking about stuff, and a debate that we didn't really finish cropped up.
It blew your mind, didn't it?
Amazing.
Oh, I know about this. Steve told me. This is the infinite amount of monkeys. Or a monkey with a typewriter and an infinite amount of time would eventually come up with the works of Shakespeare.
Yeah.
There was no debate. It's a philosophical, mathematical problem. There's no debate. It's true.
It wouldn't happen.
No, listen, Carl, listen. Infinity sorts it all out for you, right? An infinite amount of monkeys at a typewriter, right? They do everything. They type everything. Infinity just sorts it all out for you. There's no getting to it and they're going, oh well, let's have a look what they've done. This one's come close. It did Romeo and Juliet. It would do it all. It would type everything ever possible, conceivable.
Yeah, but
It's a mathematically
Well,
infinity.
we've heard your side of the argument, Rick. And I'll be honest with you, it's a persuasive one, but let's hear Carl, because he heard about this in a pub last week, so
what's
he's
your
got
problem?
some strong
What's your
ideas
problem with
himself.
it? What's your problem with it?
well, first of all, right, you're saying it's a load of monkeys. It's not just one monkey.
It depends.
That can live forever.
No, wait. It's either a chimpanzee with a typewriter with an infinite amount of time. He would eventually, by definition, mathematically, type everything ever possible. Okay, or it's an infinite amount of chimps with typewriters, and one of them will type it first time.
But already, that's not right. You either need to have
What do
one
you mean?
monkey.
What you mean?
Let's hear his
Employment
point.
laws.
He
What do you mean
can't-
it's not right?
Let's hear him out.
Okay.
If it's one monkey
Yeah.
with a typewriter that's got loads of ink in it and that, right? At least it knows what it's done in the past.
It's not.
Keep going.
Cry.
If you've got a load of monkeys, it's like if you have too many. What's that saying about too many chefs?
Too many
spoil-
chimps spoil the soup.
Right. Well, it's the same thing. It's like, well, I didn't tell you to put salt in it. I was going to put salt in it, and it messes it up. Whereas if it's just one, they know what's gone on. So what I'm saying is,
Honestly,
leave him go.
I can't be bothered,
I want
Steve.
to hear- I want to hear the rest.
This blows my mind. He doesn't know what this does to me. It's a mathematical problem.
I want to hear the rest.
well, it's just I just don't think it will happen.
What
I
do you mean you don't think it'll happen? Infinity works it out for you, by definition.
Well, what's stopping them typing the same thing again?
They would. In fact, the problem should be, if you had an infinite amount of time, that it would type, that works for Shakespeare an infinite amount of times, and everything else an infinite amount of times. But, you know, that's not as...
But not Shakespeare.
Oh! Shut up! You,
you know-
idiot!
Rick, do you know what he said to me? I said to him, I explained it to him, I said,
God.
you've got an infinite number of monkeys, infinite number of typewriters, they will type the complete works of Shakespeare. He
Yeah.
said, have they read Shakespeare?
You're an idiot! Play a
I said
record, 'cause
no.
I'm not having this
They're not doing
conversation.
it from
I'm not
memory.
having it, because it really, really winds me up.
But you're saying they'll do it with no spelling errors.
Well, they do it an infinite amount of times. And they do it wrong an infinite amount of times. And they spell, the last full stop, wrong an infinite amount of times. And they get one thing wrong in Hamlet wrong an infinite amount of times. They do everything an infinite amount of times.
But are they going off a story that they've
Play a record, Carl, because I'm gonna knock you out!
I'm just saying,
Shut up!
do they know the story?
Oh,
They're monkeys!
Oh, Christ.
No,
Right, okay.
As
Yeah.
ever, Rick, there's always someone who steps in to defend Carl.
Okay, what is the defence? What is the defence?
Here's an email from Scott Coomer. He says, Carl is actually right. I've got an A-level in statistics and probability. It doesn't matter how long they have and how many monkeys you have, you cannot guarantee they would type the complete works of Shakespeare. Infinity makes it probable they would get it right, but not definite.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
No, you weren't saying, Carl. You don't understand it. Infinity sort of sorts it out. That if they do anything, they nearly do everything, won't they?
No, I mean they'll give it a good shot. and that.
No, that's not the point. But the
I'd
point
be
is
surprised if they did one page right.
Right, listen. It's not to do with consciousness. It's not to do with them aiming.
They are
It's-
just bashing away
It's
at the
like
keyboard.
it's like they're used to show that there isn't consciousness. They chose the chimpanzee because it can type, presumably,
It's
hit
because,
the keyboard.
it's because they hadn't come across you at the time.
yeah. It's to take out thought out of it. It's to take out reason and trying, right? It's just random. They're saying that if you typed enough things, if a computer was left out typing everything, if you left it for an infinite amount of time, and they chose Shakespeare because there is meaning behind it, and it's difficult to get it exactly right, to show you that Infinity would come up with it's not just Shakespeare, it's every novel. It's everything.
Fairly eloquent there from Gervais. A quick riposte, please, from Carl Pilkington.
No, I'm just saying what I don't understand. If it hasn't read it, then how does it know where it's gone?
Oh! Listen, right, okay, listen, right, I
Can I just-
can I just explain to people, right, some people have said, oh, why are you cruel to Carl? He drives me mental with things like that.
What I thought I'd start doing is start a diary.
Okay, why?
Just 'cause I sort of had a bit of time on my hands and that. Just thought, write it down, write stuff down.
And do you hope that this one day will become one of the great literary documents like Samuel Pepys' diary?
I haven't heard of that. Is it any good?
You've never heard of Samuel Pepys' diary?
No,
The most famous diary, other than probably Anne Frank's.
I've heard of Anne Frank's and that, and I thought if she's sat in a loft, knocking stuff up, not much going on in her life at that point, yet she was still writing it down.
Yeah. Whereas
Thought,
you've
well,
been
I'm
to
on
Gran
holiday.
Canaria, yeah.
I thought, so there is stuff going on that I can chat about. Start a diary.
Sure.
You started a diary.
Yeah.
And what are you gonna do? Did you keep it up every day?
Yeah, just,
Oh, can I read it, please?
well, a diary's meant to be sort of...
Please, can I read some out on this podcast? Carl.
Some of it, though, is only relevant to me. It's sort of...
Oh, this is. Please give me it. Oh my God.
I mean, this isn't... I haven't just...
Look how big it is!
It's
Oh
one
my
of those
God.
desk diaries.
It's huge. It's about a foot long, and it's Oh, that is amazing. Imagine if Anne Frank had been like that. As she got out, right? Everyone would have heard it clank down on the desk.
Yeah, but my writing's quite big, isn't it?
Oh look! Give us
Oh,
that.
do you
Give us
know?
that.
Do you know about joined up writing? Have you
This
heard about
is
that?
No point.
Amazing.
Sometimes you can't read it, can you? So it's
Right.
best
Okay.
to look at ancient
look!
times.
Oh my God! It starts on the first day. This is wonderful. Going on holiday to Gran Canaria today. Woke up to the news that Tony Banks had died. There was a piece on the news about how everyone was shocked. Got me thinking about an invention that would be good. Right. A watch that counted down your life. If it says you've got 3 days left, go to the doctors. Told Suzanne about invention. She said she wouldn't buy one. But she said that about the iPod.
How would this device work? This watch? I mean, how would you know when you were about to die? Is that a concern? Again, not for you to worry about, presumably the boffins and the
No, all I was thinking is that Tony Banks fella, he died and everyone was shocked about it. But if you had like a little watch on...
But how does it work? You can't just say, wouldn't it be good? How would this work? Yeah, I imagine you in the patent office going, got an idea. They go, oh, certainly, Mr. Pilkington, what's your idea? Watch that counting down your life. Oh, how does that work? What?
Just wear it, just pop it on your wrist.
No, what do you mean, just pop it on your wrist? How does it work? Just pop it on your wrist. Brilliant. You're an idiot.
Well, it's interesting that he goes on. The flight to Gran Canaria was a bit bumpy. I thought about the clock that counts down your life again, and I wondered if it would know if you were going to die in a disaster. No, he's querying his own design.
He's wondering if it would know. He's invented this.
Now he's not even sure. But while I was at my parents' house, they often, they keep clippings of things, if we've been mentioned in the papers, they like to keep a record of them and stuff, because, I like to show it to my grandparents, and keep fully abreast of things. And, I managed to find a couple of them. This was I don't know if you've heard this, Carl. It's, for people who don't realise, Carl was making a couple of little 3-minute TV projects recently that were on Channel 4. And in the Sunday Times, someone's written a letter about Carl to the Sunday Times.
Wow.
They can send in comments and views on things they've seen, read, heard.
Oh, excellent.
And this is what someone wrote to the Sunday Times. Who is Carl Pilkington? And why have I just wasted 5 minutes of my life listening to some of his cretinous thoughts on Channel 4? He asked, why are there so many dinosaurs on display in museums? Quotes, couldn't they just choose the best one and just show that? He summed it all up by deciding that we know too much. Somebody clearly doesn't know enough to know that this is a complete waste of airtime, showing no wit, intellect or creativity. That's from Wendy Robinson in Berkshire.
You can't have your critics. You know what I mean?
You've got to have your critics.
Of course you have. If everybody liked what you did, then you're not doing the right thing.
She wasted 5 minutes, and they were 3-minute wonders, so it must have felt...
Yeah.
2/3 as long again.
But think how angry she must have been to have bothered writing this letter to the Sunday Times.
Well, that's good.
I mean,
though.
you
It's made a
really must
difference.
have-
It's all about getting people thinking. That's what I always say to you. As long as I'm getting people thinking about what I've said, she remembered what I said.
But what views did you put out in these short films which you feel people perhaps should be talking about, discussing, digesting, thinking about?
Just stuff that was in my head that day when I was filming them.
Yeah.
Is it in your head now?
Some of it is. Now you've remembered me what I said.
Now you've what?
Now you've sort of told me what I said in that one. Yeah, I remember saying that.
Yeah.
And I stick by it.
Remembering some other stuff.
Yeah.
I'll tell you now, right? This, if I don't know if Wendy's, listening to this, but
Almost certainly not.
listen, right? I was saying about the museums, right, and how they're big and everything, and they've
Brilliant.
got dinosaurs all over the shop. I read that in that museum, they've got something like 7 million bits of stuff in there, right? Now, when I spend 2 hours in somewhere, just show me the good stuff. Don't be saying we've got 7 million bits. Because there was a fella who opened it, right? I did a bit of research on the museum. Fella who opened the museum up.
What was his name?
It doesn't matter.
Okay.
Doesn't matter, does it?
What museum was it?
It was the London one.
Oh, the London one, yeah, okay.
So he's in there and he's collecting all this, bits of stuff.
What stuff?
Just whatever's knocking about that
Oh,
time.
right, okay.
It seemed like
You have researched it.
he never chucked anything away. He's like, I won't put it in the bin, pop it on a shelf.
Okay,
right? So
yeah.
he's put everything on a shelf in
right,
the
yeah.
museum. Then, as time
I
went
think you're
on,
going into too much detail, but just give us the gist of it.
No, but all I'm saying is, he keeps everything, and if you keep everything, sometimes it'll be good stuff, right? And a lot of the stuff was going missing, the good stuff. But people who set these museums up are just as crafty.
What?
The fella who found Tutankhamun, he was pocketing all sorts of fingers and stuff in his pockets on the way out. That had rings on them and stuff. So all I'm saying is, why is she having a go?
But
She's
hang on,
learned
wait,
something.
what's that got to do with someone pocketing? I don't understand your point.
Because she's sort of moaning at me, going, "Don't have a go at the museum and the dinosaurs." But
but she's having a go at your fatuous point.
Yeah, you're absolutely uneducated,
But,
stupid
I mean,
point that
I-
you got TV time to talk absolute shit, if I could
That's not
paraphrase
my fault,
Wendy.
is it? That's not my fault. If someone says they want me to do a little programme and you can do what I want, I went and did what I did. Free speech, innit?
But we just gave you the chance then to defend yourself, and you just confirmed Wendy's point 1,000 times over. What was all this waffle about people nicking stuff? What's that got to do with anything?
Because she's having a go at me, I didn't nick
But she's
anything.
having a go at you for talking nonsense that's of no consequence, which is what you just did
What
then.
sort of nonsense?
But what was your point?
Oh, alright then, well, we'll watch Wendy's little programme when that goes out. Let's see what she's got to talk about. Sick of her.
So anyway, as I say, my mother saves various clippings and things which may be of interest. This was recently in the Daily Mail, in one of those kind of gossip columns. Ricky Gervais's cringe-worthy dance routine as managerial buffoon David Bren was undoubtedly the highlight of BBC comedy The Office. Perhaps credit for the scene should not go to Gervais, however, but his lanky co-writer Stephen Merchant. For I hear that 6'7" Merchant has been attracting a great deal of female attention at the so-and-so pub in North London, until he took to the dance floor with Brent-esque results. Says my mole, most of the feminine throng looked away in embarrassment. Putting it kindly, he was rather ungainly, like a giant albatross hopping on stilts. Right, now then, I'll take issue with this, because firstly,
You wouldn't be attracting female attention in the first place.
Rick, if I had been, I'd have phoned the Mail myself. Point A, right, I seem to remember distinctly I was talking to one of my mates the whole night, and we were discussing about the fact we were too shy to talk to girls. So wrong there. Point 2, as you well know, if I take to the dance floor, which on this occasion I didn't, I remember distinctly not because I love to dance, I would not have been described as a giant albatross hopping on stilts, because Carl has seen me dance, you've seen me dance, you know I'm a good mover.
Yeah.
Just in the same way that people can't quite understand how Peter Crouch, the same height as me,
Yeah.
is able to be so brilliant on the football field.
Yeah.
It's the same. People look at me when I'm dancing, they go, I don't know how that big guy is able to bust some of those kind of moves.
Yeah.
I've won 2 dance contests in my life.
Yeah.
Those facts, those stats speak for themselves, Rick.
I know.
I mean, you've seen me dancing, how would you describe me?
I think that you look like isn't an albatross, isn't it? So you look like an upright lizard, right? Being given electroshock treatment, and I think that's a lot fairer, isn't it, than the albatross nonsense?
Well, so I'm just trying to picture that, because again, I was that a compliment? You were on my side, right? You were defending me there.
A cross between a giant lizard and a stick insect.
Again, because they don't sound, straight away they don't sound like compliments, but I'm assuming you're on my side here.
Stick insect with funny glasses? Is that?
Again, I thought, I was thinking you were perhaps being a bit touch more supportive, but you've not really. Carl, you've seen me dance. What are your views?
It's just like a bit of weird art.
That's brilliant! That is brilliant! That's so much better than albatross!
I wouldn't have said an albatross. I was looking at one of them the other day, and I don't understand what they mean by that, because they're dying out. They say, They dive in the sea.
Oh, it's gone. Something happened in the brain. It went from the point we were making via an albatross, then it just shot off. It just ping like a pinball.
Well, let's hear, because it's going to be another good point.
No, it's just saying how, because I've never seen one, and they were saying, how would you feel if you never saw one again? And I was like, I've got by this long without it. It's not bothered me. But
point.
it was just sort of saying, what they do is they dive in the sea, sort of put their head under the water, see if there's any fish knocking about, grab one, get out again, right?
Yeah.
Go to land. I don't know if they're designed to do that.
Well, obviously they are.
No, because seagulls are, because you see them floating about. Now, what's happening is, they're doing that, but getting caught in nets.
Well, that's it. The net shouldn't be there. That's the point. They're totally adapted to their environment, but we came along millions and millions of years afterwards and stitched them up. It's not like people are going, well, the nets were always there. How did they evolve without getting caught in the net? We invented the net. We've only been knocking around for a few 100,000 years.
But what I'm saying is, it's that thing about animals learn by mistakes by other animals. You know, like the monkeys peeling potatoes.
Right. That's never happened. They go and put nuts in the salt water to salt the nut.
Whatever.
How does that get to peeling potatoes? Because in your head, they were working in a canteen.
Making chips.
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
It doesn't matter what the food is. I'm just saying how they know how to sort of prepare
I
that
love
food.
the fact that you don't care what the fact is. When you're discussing facts, that's all that matters. Otherwise, on Mastermind, they just go, who wrote Much Ado About Nothing? Dickens? Yeah, close enough, whatever, someone did. The fact is what matters.
Yeah, but with that question, that's got a straightforward answer. What I'm telling you is the way that animals work. If it's a potato or a nut, it's a foodage. What's good with it is, everybody's got one of these. And
But it's not going to happen, Carl.
And the most important thing in your body, apart from the heart, is your brain. So protect that, not the toes. The toes we can get by
Please,
without the
people.
toes. But your head's important, isn't it? There's a lot of stuff in your head. And I know all this just after seeing the Bodyworks thing. I went to see it's a show on where there's a load of, like, dead bodies and that. And you can see how much stuff's in the body. And there's loads of stuff. There's nothing in there that you don't need. It's all doing stuff. Everything in your body.
We've been telling you that for years.
But you reckon you don't need the toenails?
Yeah, that's on the outside. I'm saying everything that's on the inside of your body, right?
You don't need the appendix.
No, but doesn't that depend on what lifestyle you have?
Well, it's a hangover of when we probably ate a lot more cellulose, and it's.
Yeah, well, they might come back. Things are always coming back, aren't they? So if people start eating them again.
What about male nipples?
Sort of looks alright though, doesn't it? Because the chest is quite plain, so with nothing on it, you'd go, oh, what's this? It just balances it out. I think it looks alright. I think it works. So leave it. But what were we talking about?
But wouldn't you rather have maybe a little like a rib cage around the testicles? Because you get a whack in them and it. Oh.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Not an invention, Carl. It's not an invention, and we can't do it. But
would you be able to sit down still? Because that's the good thing with them at the moment, is movement. So it sort of works. But don't they say, they said something about testicles, at the Bodyworks thing.
well, they're on the outside.
Put yours away, Carl. You're not one of the exhibits.
They're on the outside because they have to be a few degrees below body temperature for the Sertoli cells to.
So that's an odd design. That they had to go there because it is it's a bit of an odd place to have them.
Where would you suggest? Dangling from the throat?
Sort of.
I want to redesign you, right? You can possibly do this now. This is something you can actually do, probably. You could probably have your testicles anywhere. So where would you want them?
You've got a giant forehead nail.
Yeah. You could have that. It probably wouldn't grow, but we could certainly have that.
I just mean like, because if all it's about is temperature, you don't want to get them too hot.
Yeah.
Well, they're getting hot down there because you're wearing pants and what have you. So have them nearer to the outside of the body.
Well, they are on the outside of the body.
No, but we wear pants over them. So
you
what?
wear pants over them because they're testicles, and polite society suggests that you don't show your
Yeah, but that's the
testicles.
odd thing, isn't it? That's what's happened somehow. That we've said testicles shouldn't be seen.
Well, then just cut a hole in your trousers. If it's only about, keeping them cool, and because they're too hot, why don't you just hang them out your shorts?
Because there's too many sort of seats that are shared these days, isn't there? But what I'm saying is,
Well, what are you saying?
Where would you put them?
somewhere like, sort of under the ears. So it sort of just looks like lobes.
So you would redesign your body to have a pair of testicles
For lobes.
hanging from your ears.
And when people are sometimes talking, they do sort of mess with their ears, and they're always saying check for lumps. More handy.
Does the penis remain where it is at the
Leave
moment?
that where it is. Yeah.
Well, I don't know about you, Rick, but I would love to see, perhaps on the web, it's very easy to put stuff on web pages now, some kind of illustration, could be computer generated, could be drawn by hand, of the new model Carl. Bear in mind, people, that he's got some testicles underneath his ears,
And a big thumbnail on his forehead.
big thumbnail on his forehead.
Talking to Carl, I want to see Carl's head everywhere. There's the roundness that I like, okay? So, do a viral campaign. Anyone out there with a picture of Carl, just get it everywhere. Because I want, eventually, everyone to, as they walk past him in the street, to shout, "You shaved monkey," or "Look at that bald head," or "Look at fucking coconut face coming this way. You got a head like a fucking orange."
Went out the other night with the lads. There's a few of us, young, free and single.
Must look like the Swingers.
Oh, it was pretty. It looked like a boy band had gone out. It looked like
Really?
It looked like NSYNC had hit the
Oh,
streets.
right, yeah.
Yeah.
Excellent.
We'd dressed up, togged up, out for a few drinks. A friend of mine said, "Let's go to a club." Right, I haven't been to a nightclub for a long time. Actually, I haven't been.
Is that because your glasses steam up when you walk in out of the cold?
That is a problem in the winter. It's very difficult to make a good impression as you walk in, your glasses steam up straight away, and you got to take them off and clean them and stuff, and then you get a bit
On
dirty.
your white fronts, you pull your white fronts up through the jeans,
Yeah.
clean them on that.
or the back of a girl's dress. But we cruised down to the club. It's one of those big sort of super clubs, London super clubs. Never been in one of those, the Ministry or any of those things, so it was all new. And it's a bit of a queue. I think it's a bit of a chore. But we're queuing up, we're in good spirits, we're looking at it, it sounds pretty funky, we can hear the music coming out. Been in the queue for quite a while, 20, 25 minutes.
Forget it. 25 minutes.
Well, yeah, we were pretty excited by this point. The doorman says, "Hello lads." I said, "Yeah, we're coming please." He went, "No, you're not." I went,
Really?
"What?" He said, you're not coming in." And he just immediately lifted the little rope and sent us away from the queue, right? And we were slightly perplexed, we were dumbfounded, we didn't know what to do, it was like, this couldn't be happening, it didn't make sense, so we just queued up what was going on. And so, my friend said, "Well, we've got to find out why he's not going to let us in." So he goes back over.
I thought you wanted to do. You wanted to tie him up with logic. That'll show a bouncer.
Exactly.
Yeah, show him how educated you are and how you can win an argument and make him look stupid. You'll be in that club in no time.
That's what they appreciate. They love her. Because what they respect is being made to look like a fool.
Exactly.
So we went over and,
They really look up to intellectuals.
exactly, yeah. So one of our mates goes over and he says, "Why didn't you let us in?" And he went, "Because you didn't have any girls with you." Now, I'll tell you this. That's kicking you when you're down. Because when you're out on a Saturday night trying to get into a club to meet women, and the reason you're not allowed to go in a club to meet women is because you haven't got any women with you, that's just salt in the wound. It's so humiliating. So, a friend of mine says that there's a VIP entrance over there. And there was like a woman with a clipboard, the guest list. Separate entrance. She said, "You've got a little bit of profile, Steve. Why don't we try and use your
You
little bit
ran
of
out and
celebrity-"
got your Golden Globe and your Emmy.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I always carry, some of my cuttings with me.
Yeah.
And I felt a bit self-conscious about it. I was thinking, I'm not into this, it's a bit awkward. But he said, "Look, don't worry, you just stand here. Just stand here, just like you're having a conversation. I'll go over, I'll point him out, I'll go, oh, there's, Steve Merchant over there, the office or whatever."
Oh God, Steve!
So I thought, well, the thing is, we were out, and I was a bit frustrated, and I thought, we may as well try everything. So I stand there, with my friend goes over, and he has a word, and he comes back, and he says, "It's fine. She can't let us in the VIP entrance because she's not allowed, but what she can do is walk us to the front of the queue, right? And walk to the front of the queue and explain." So I think, okay, fine.
Oh God!
So the guy the guy takes me and my mates, right, this girl, she takes us, we walk past everyone else, right, to the front of the queue, right? She goes up to the guy, she says, this is Steve Merchant office. The guy goes, I know who he is, we're not letting him in. Oh God! Oh God! By now, of course, some people have recognised me, so they're trying to have my photo taken. So there's people inside the line that's being allowed in the club. I've got to lean across the rope to have my photo taken with them, even though I'm not allowed in the club. So they go, oh, alright, this is Steve there, and the photo's taken, right, camera phones and that. They're going into the club where the music, the party's kicking off. I'm outside waiting for the next chump who wants to have his photo taken. I mean, it was mental. So,
That's unbelievable.
I was furious, and then one guy, I remember he was trying, and he goes, oh yeah, brilliant, I love the podcast and all that stuff, I love Carl, is Carl with you? I said, oh, Carl's not here. And his girlfriend was with me, she went, who's that? And he went, oh, it's just Steve Merchant, he does the office, he does the thing, and she went, who cares? Who are you, Bruce Forsyth? And it's that thing when suddenly I'm being humiliated and embarrassed by someone's girlfriend. I never asked for that. I never asked for her opinion on me. I'm sorry if I don't impress you, if I'm not sufficiently famous for you, but it's not my fault. It's your boyfriend who brought it up. It was like I'd gone over to her and tried to show off, and she was annoyed. So by now I was just furious.
Oh,
so I
God.
thought, forget this.
Well, I was walking down the street, and there's a group of builders sitting down having a cup of tea. One of them goes, "All right, Rick." I went, "All right, mate." The other one went, "Not as fat as on telly." I went, "Oh, thanks." Not as fat as on telly. So he went with, "Well, you are fat, but you look even fatter on telly." He didn't say, "Oh God, you don't look fat at all," or "Oh, you look big on telly, but you don't look fat." Just went with, "Not as fat as on telly." And there's nothing I could say, but cheers, mate.
Now, when you said cheers, mate, did you say that because because I'd say cheers, mate, because I'd be a little bit scared of them.
No,
I'd be worried about the
like
repercussions.
sarcasm, and you know, I laughed after. Yeah.
So you can get away with sarcasm with working class blokes.
I'm a little bit more secure with a working class male than you, aren't I?
I'm terrified of them. I feel like they're going to turn on me at any minute.
You don't feel confident sort of backing in a lorry driver?
Terrified.
Oh, right,
Because
okay.
if I did, he'd probably lean out and just go and get your dad, mate.
Yeah, not you.
Fuck off, I'm not
Not
interested.
you. Yeah.
Sex on films and all that, right? When I was growing up,
Here we
and I'd
go.
be watching. No, just saying an example of this, really,
Go on.
right? When I was growing up as a kid, and I'd be, watching films with my dad, right? He'd really be enjoying a film,
Yeah.
right? And then a sex scene would happen,
Right.
and he'd go
On film.
in
Or
the
just
film,
behind you.
in the film. A sex scene would happen,
Your brother up to his old tricks again.
and he'd get up and go make a cup of tea, right?
Right.
Typhoon? That he'd stolen from some sort of telephone box?
And like even recently, he thinks it ruins a film. Do you know what I mean? Because there's no need for it to happen, is there? Really?
Yes.
Why?
Sometimes it's warranted. If the film itself is
Yeah, no,
fundamentally
some
about-
films it isn't though. Some
No,
films it
of
isn't.
course, some films it's arbitrary.
I think the films that him and his dad watched together on Channel 5.
Yeah.
Probably not. Is it only on Channel 5
but
in
do
your
you know-
house?
But let's put it, yeah, if you're watching, I don't know, a late night, Friday night,
From
erotic thriller.
1983.
Yeah, illegal briefs. A beautiful lawyer has to defend a man who may be a killer. She falls in love with him, but does she know the real man?
Oh
But
dear.
you know what I mean, though.
Lest you forget, of course, that
Love Heat. With the bloke that is now in. Go on.
of course, that according to the Internet Movie Database, I once appeared in one of those films, in the film Killer Image, a Canadian film, I believe from 1989. According to that computer,
It's all wrong,
website.
isn't it?
It's all wrong.
It's
completely
all wrong.
Of course it is. Yeah. Apparently, I was in that, and I played the role of Kirk.
Was it a porn thing?
No. I think it's just an erotic thriller.
Oh, right.
That I supposedly.
You only
was
had a
in.
very small part though, didn't you?
Indeed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, do you know what I mean? Sometimes you don't need to go that far. Say like in this Jesus program, right?
Film.
What's it called?
The Last Temptation of Christ.
Just like talking. You know what? What's his name? Is it Ralph in The Simpsons?
Yes.
I drawed a kitty cat. It's like talking to that.
Yeah.
No, but right, this temptation thing, right?
Do you know, often we don't get that many complaints on this show. We don't get very many complaints. And I think that's either because there's no listeners, or B, it's because most people agree with Carl, and that
I
terrifies
know.
me.
Or they let him off because it's like, you can plead insanity, you can go mental and
Yeah.
kill a few people, but they go, oh, he's a bit backward.
No, but was it because like they're saying that he was having it away, or is it because you saw it? What got the complaints?
The complaint was the very suggestion.
It was a
that Christ
It was
himself would be
a
having
blasphemous
sex.
thing, not the fact that you saw an actor's knob.
So what about if they just cut it down a bit and you like saw the little stable door closing?
It wasn't the baby Jesus having sex. It was the grown man.
The stable door shutting!
No, but you know
It's
what
the
they do?
nativity scene.
Ah, that is brilliant. That
but
is...
then-
The wise men saying, I can't believe we brought myrrh, we should have brought condoms.
No, yeah. There's 2 for 1 offering, Boots.
Yeah, that's what we were thinking. With
Oh,
frankincense.
It's just that it's always awful.
Should we
isn't it?
apologise now to the Christian church as
yeah.
well?
So
Sorry,
we-
the little Chinese fellas, little Welsh fellas, and the little Christian fellas.
We haven't said anything wrong.
No.
It's like, you see, when I was growing up,
Stable door. I love the idea that in Carl's world, he was born in a stable, just thought, well, I
Yeah.
love this place.
Yeah.
I'm just going to stay here the rest of my days.
This is good here. Oh, brilliant.
but when I was watching telly with my mum and dad, I mean, it still happens now, right? My dad will sort of go, oh, ruined, good film ruined, right,
Yeah.
if some sex scene happens.
But why doesn't he
But
just
what are we
ignore
talking
it?
about sex scene? Are we talking about a kissing or are we talking about penetration and looking at the camera?
No,
Going,
just-
are you enjoying this, Pilkingtons? What are we talking about? What is sort of extreme levels are we talking about?
Right, last time I was down there, right?
Yeah.
What was it? Meet Joe Black.
Meet Joe Black.
Meet Joe Black is a terrible film.
yeah.
Yeah.
There was, it's a good film, and then you know it's going to happen because like the music comes in. Brad
Yeah.
Pitt's keeping quiet. A woman's eyeing him up.
Sure.
So my mum's worked it out already, and she's going. Anything on the other side, love?
She knows. She
She
knows.
knows it's something's.
Well, and so you could be enjoying a film and you can be an hour and 10 in, and then some spidey senses of one of them can go, should we turn it over? And the other one goes, yeah, all right.
Are you sure it's not them protecting you from scenes of sex? So that what they're thinking is, what if Carl gets the idea to have sex?
Yeah.
That could lead to procreation. We don't want any more like him.
Yeah.
We've got to end the line here.
You sure it's not the doctor? Keep calling out going, you are keeping away from
exactly.
women, aren't you?
He must never find out.
Are you
how
sure
it's
they're not
done.
embarrassed because they're watching a sex scene with their son?
It happens every time, right? There's 2 things that my mum does, right? It's that if there's sex scene on the telly, she'll go, anything on the other side, love? And the other thing she always says, if ever there's anything on the telly with Elvis in it,
Yeah.
she goes, oh, I like him, right? And we all know, we sat there, we know what she's going to say next.
Yeah.
So you don't even bother saying why, right? And she goes, he likes fat, ugly people.
He what?
He liked fat, ugly people. He didn't always go for, like, the good-looking fans in the crowd.
What Elvis did?
Yeah.
Right.
That was always the thing, and
I'm
like,
sorry, no, hold on. I don't know what we're doing now with our lives, Steve. Right, wait a minute, right. So, your mum says 2 things, right? She either says...
Is there anything else on the
Is there
other
anything
side?
else? Or, I like Elvis. There's a pause, because you know what she's going to say next. She says, he liked fat, ugly people. How often does this occur?
Well, because they've got, like, Sky, there's a lot of those channels on. They're like the music channels. So Elvis always comes on. There's either an Elvis film, there's, like, a classic hit by him on...
And she'll go, I like Elvis, he likes fat, ugly people. And what do you mean he liked fat, ugly people?
Is she a fat ugly person?
Because there's that special Vegas show, isn't he, where he's dancing about, right? And he's got loads of scarves around his neck.
Towels.
Yeah. And, like, he always hands them down to the fat, ugly ones. Right. And I always say it's because they're the fat, they've got a sweaty face because they can't, you know what I mean?
I don't know what world they
I
live
don't
in.
know how we've got onto this subject.
What sort of world are you got when you're watching his face? And what do you mean fat, ugly ones? You mean they're in the front, they're sweating a lot because they're a bit
Yeah,
chubby?
so she thinks, is giving them a towel because it's
But
like,
he's really going, wipe your face, you're putting me off, you
Yeah.
fat cow. Stop sweating near me.
There's another one.
What?
So, hairy Chinese kids,
Yeah.
Jesus.
We haven't slagged off hairy Chinese kids. We slagged off Chinese. We didn't slag anyone off. We just said they really haven't got a town as such, and they wear shoes. What do we say?
Yeah, little wooden shoes.
And what the
I just don't know how we got onto Elvis and big fat ugly women. I don't know I don't know how we
Did you
sidestepped from the Last Temptation of Christ.
Did you see that fat Girls and Feeders
Go on a
program?
minute.
Eh?
What's
Tom
that?
Petty first.
Oh, brilliant! It's a great song. Breakdown.
How many
Tom
other
Petty.
radio shows have talked about Last Temptation of Christ, Chinatown,
Yeah.
fat ugly women?
More
Yeah.
than 60 minutes.
Exactly.
How did you meet your girlfriend?
Through work.
What, through her work? What, you phoned up and said you...
worked at the same place.
Oh, you're right.
You're quite an enigma, aren't you? Could you give us more on that?
At work, you met her at work. What, she came in selling sandwiches? She was going through the bins outside. What do you mean you met her
Why
at
are you
work?
having an attack on me? You're the
not
one
having
who's
an attack
sad and lonely.
Oh, he's done you again. He's done you
Yeah, but what I thought was interesting was I just scratched at him and he just went mental.
Yeah, no,
It's like a
but
bear caught in a trap.
it's funny, innit? You'll never learn.
No, I was just interested to find out what the story was, because it might be a really romantic story.
Well, it's not.
Alright, jeez. I love the fact he doesn't want to talk about his love affair.
I was thinking about you in the week, and like, does it worry you? I mean, you sort of joke about it now, and we're talking about it in the office, you know, like, oh, is Steve really touchy about the way he looks? And
Oh, what's this? Where's that come from?
He's done it again. He's done you again.
I was walking home the other night, and I was thinking about it. And do you worry that when you're old, you will be on your own?
You did start it though, didn't you?
Well, Carl, I'm glad you brought this up. because I mean, for me, you know, a lightweight, frothy entertainment show on XFM on a Saturday afternoon is exactly the place where I want to discuss the desperate, lonely future that's inevitably coming my way.
Oh God.
Just animal facts. I remembered one in the week.
Go on.
There was, do you know them two gay American men who have tigers?
Well, they're not necessarily gay.
They're
are
not.
they?
No one actually knows if they are gay or not.
All right.
Okay,
Well,
yeah.
okay.
Gilbert and George, is it? No, that's those artists. What are
Yeah.
they called? Siegfried and Roy.
But
Yeah.
anyway,
Who may or may not be gay.
Yeah. And if they are, so what?
And if they are, so what? But if they're not, and they
no,
don't.
I just said that so you knew who I was talking about. 'Cause
Sure.
Okay, the two gay ones.
Those
Yeah,
are
go
the
on.
Two possibly gay
Tigers.
guys.
Yeah, let's not worry about libel law anymore. Then, or yeah,
if you
go on.
shave a tiger's head,
Whoa. Right, okay. You've got to treat that sentence with a lot more reverence than you did. Think what you're saying. If you shave a tiger's head.
not just its head, its whole body. If
Oh, sorry.
Sorry, yeah.
So I thought you were getting weird. Go on. Then, yeah, if you shave a tiger, yeah, go on.
it's still stripy underneath. The
Yeah.
skin's.
Is it like rock?
It goes all,
Is it like all the way through?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's amazing.
Where did you hear that one?
I remembered that. Like, I was
Was
watching.
that drunk just shouting it in the street?
I shaved a tiger and it's still stripy. Get out of here. Yeah.
I must make a note of that, things, Carl.
Yeah, that's an interesting fact. Well, you know a polar bear? Polar bear's skin is actually black, and its fur is transparent, not white, and it gives the illusion. So it gets all the radiation possible from the sun, but it's still camouflaged.
I didn't understand that, Rick. Sorry, you lost me. If its skin's black,
a polar
and
bear's
its
skin is
and its
black.
fur is translucent,
And its fur is
so
translucent.
why is it white when we see
Well, it's just because the light hits it, and
the sun reflects on it?
yeah, and it makes it look white. Yeah, so if you look at each individual hair, it's actually translucent.
So at
Each
night
hair.
it would be black.
Well, everything is.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, not bright stuff, Rick. You've embarrassed yourself. Play a record. Oh, I know all about animals and stuff. Do you, Rick?
And once again, I return you to my question as before. What's your point? What point were you making?
I'm just saying, an albatross will find. If you're hungry, you find food or you change your diet. If you don't eat something else, you die out. Simple. Said before. If you want a pie, but they haven't got any pies, you have a pasty. Alter your diet, and an albatross.
Drastically.
Yeah,
Oh,
pies
radical. Yeah, you said. Completely changing my diet. No more pies. What are you eating? Pasty. Brilliant. I'm not going to eat quiche anymore. I'm going to have a tartlet.
But you're getting more and more sort of single-minded in your
No, single-celled.
yeah
It's not though.
in your belief that everything you say has got some kind of profound implication, and that no one else is listening. That we're all ignorant.
All right.
We're all not
Here's-
listening to what you're
here's
saying.
another one.
Go
Here's
on.
something else I
Oh,
discussed.
come on. This will be good.
In series
This
one.
will be as good as E equals MC squared.
The people aging backwards idea.
Well, it's not an idea.
They've done something on it, saying how
No, they haven't.
a baby has been messing about with emails. Right?
Right.
Yeah. A 65-year-old doesn't know how to use email. So, again, my system works. So say if you're an old person, you're not using the internet, but you shouldn't be anyway. Because you should be sort of just getting used to life as an old person. When you're a baby and you're about to die, they're using the internet.
I don't know what you mean. When you're a baby and you're about to die.
This is if
This
this
is the
was
aging
your
backwards
world. If it
idea,
was
yeah.
your world. Well, let me just ask a couple of
Sorry,
questions.
none, that makes no sense at all. What you just that makes no sense
I'm just
at all.
saying that my theory.
You may as well have hit a wok.
what I'm
to
saying-
express that point because they're
the pong that would have made more sense.
this
It'd
is
be
why-
more profound.
This is why
more resonant.
This is why Wendy's having a go though, because you're not being open-minded. You're not thinking about.
But we're being open-minded to good ideas, to sensible thought, to intellectual considerations. We're not being open-minded to this utter drivel.
Yeah, but every invention is a bit. Who'd have thought the frisbee would have caught on?
That's not. I don't think that can count as an invention,
Of
though.
course it is. People are paying for it. Someone said, "I'm going to invent something."
But
you can
people
chuck
are paying
about."
for carrots. But they're not an invention. Because you pay for something, it doesn't mean it's an invention.
No, but a man-made thing. A frisbee. It didn't grow off a tree, did it? Someone's made that and gone, "I can sell this," and people are buying it. You know, all I'm saying is things change, don't they? You know, the albatross is dying out. The way, like when I walked into the flat, right? We've had hot weather, haven't we? We've had a lot of flies knocking about. Now, when I was younger, I never saw flies sort of hanging about in gangs. Whereas,
I don't know what world this is. Would they have little motorbikes?
no, you know, just you'd sort of see one would get in the house, you know, my dad would kill it or whatever, but you'd never see three. You wouldn't be going, oh, which one am I going to get first and everything. They'd come in, they'd exit out of a window or whatever. Whereas I walked in on a bit of activity,
There's nothing to eat here.
right? 3 flies in the flat, right? All sort of whizzing around,
Right.
all together, right? So I just sort of think, oh, you know, let them be. They seem to be happy. You know, they're playing around with each other, right? Sat down, reading the paper, look up, right? It was like one was trying to like have it away with one of the flies, and the other one was having a go as well. It turned out it was a little fly that didn't want any of the action, but 2 were attacking it.
How could you possibly gauge that?
Just by watching. That's how you learn, isn't it? You watch. You watch.
But no, this is conjecture again. You had no idea what was going on there.
No, I did. It's the way they were sort of jumping on it and stuff, and I was like, oh, I'm not happy with this going on, and you know, under my roof sort of thing.
My house, my rules.
But it's a nightmare because it's small. You can't control it. You don't know which one's which. You might end up sort of pushing out one. That's the baddie.
What are you
and you're pushing
talking
out.
about?
I'm just saying.
Why
now,
are you getting involved?
just because creatures are changing all the time.
What are you talking about? What point are you making?
I'm just saying the way that flies used to be happy-go-lucky on their own. The sun's out, have a fly about.
Whereas nowadays,
Now
God!
there was like little attacks going on.
Oh God! Oh God!
but how could you tell which were the 2 aggressors and which was the victim? How
Well,
could you distinguish?
This was the problem. I mean, all I was looking at was which one they kept attacking, and I was thinking if I can get that one in the bedroom and then get the other 2
Sorry?
out the window,
What are you?
just breaking it up. Because what sort of a person would it be to let that go on?
I don't know what he's talking about. He has no feelings for anything. He doesn't care if whole species die out. Why are you
That's
getting
where you're wrong.
involved?
That's where you're wrong. Because I think more than most people. I think there's a lot of people who just go through the motions.
Yeah.
They do
It's
the
the-
same thing every day. They can do a job, but that's all they stick to. They don't think about what them flies do.
Carl,
What's that
I've
lady
known
doing?
you for, I don't know, 4 years, and all you ever say is things like, why do we have jellyfish?
No, I haven't mentioned the jellyfish today.
But it's the same old shit. You look at something, you make up your own story, and then your conclusion annoys you, even though it's totally fatuous.
Like I say, the man with the frisbee. What happens if he had a mate who said, "Rubbish that"? He wouldn't have done it.
I love the fact that you think the frisbee is the pinnacle of invention.
Yeah.
I think it's amazing.
No, it's an example of something that, you know, if he was on some program where you said, "I've invented this," they'd go, "Get out." They wouldn't give him time of day to say, "Right, I've made this thing. It's out of plastic. You throw it about. What for?" Well, you just chuck it about on the beach. What's the point? It's a bit of fun, innit? No, I don't like it. How
Okay,
many of
that was an
them-
argument with himself.
No, but do you know what I mean? It's a popular little thing, and I'm just saying it's easy to put ideas down.
But you've never even come up with an idea as good as the frisbee, and that's saying something.
I came up with a clippable mat that goes on a
What?
cup, and it's a good little thing. I haven't followed it through yet.
A what?
A clippable mat.
What's a clippable mat? What does that
Clippable
involve?
mat that you stick on a cup, so you can put your cup down on a table without having to go, "Oh, where's that mat?" It's clipped to the cup all the time, and you put the cup down wherever you want because it's got a mat on it.
I think I've seen that.
But why does it have
No,
to
you
be
haven't.
clipped to
No, I
it?
think
Why
I
couldn't it
have.
just be built into the cup?
Because,
So it clips onto, you got to have special cups, it doesn't
Yeah.
clip onto every cup.
no, but just the same way that every sauce is different. You don't say, oh, I'm sick of this sauce, it doesn't fit a mug. You use the sauce of that. I mean, I don't use sauces. Just don't buy that sort
But
of
isn't a
furniture.
saucer what you're talking about?
Kind of, yeah, but it's clippable.
But why is the clippability so important to you?
So you don't have to keep finding the mat when you put the cup down. It's constantly clipped to the
But why does it have to be clippable? Because that suggests it's removable. Why not just have something where it's constantly attached? What's to stop you from losing that in much the same way as you lose the coasters? which
Do
of
we
course is
need
problem?
this? Do we need a
Well,
clippable coaster?
But let's ask him like it's the Dragon's Den. Let's ask
Okay,
him
yeah.
now.
What?
We've got money to invest
Yeah.
on your clippable
Right.
cup. Now
What's your
pitch
problem?
this idea to us. Tell it. How would you sell this
Well,
idea
you,
to
you
us?
just said, what was your question then?
Brilliant. So you're not listening. Let's start
No,
again.
I am.
Okay.
I
No,
just-
imagine you walked in. You
What
just
is it
walked in.
for? What is it for? Is it a coaster to stop the heat from the cup burning the varnish?
Rick, let him explain it.
Or
Let's-
is it a saucer to stop
Well, look
spills?
at it.
Let's have you pitch this idea to us. Just you've never met us before. You were investors. Tell us. Explain this to us. Sell it to us.
Right. We're living in a world where furniture is important to people. They spend a lot of money on it, don't they, furniture? There's so many
absolutely.
furniture shops out there.
Yeah.
All different types of wood from all over the world.
Absolutely, yeah.
Right?
Good
If something's come from the Amazon, you don't want a coffee stain on it.
No, you don't know.
Right. But we're living in a world as well where people don't use saucers.
What do you mean
when
they
you go
don't?
out, when you go out and buy, because people.
What do
don't-
you mean we're living in a world where they don't use saucers? Yeah, there's loads of saucers, yeah.
Because I know people who buy cups singly.
Right.
Because there's only two people living in a flat, so you don't buy a big box, because in a big box of like plates and that, you get things like, you know, what's the plate that's above a saucer but below a plate?
The plate that's above a saucer, but below a plate. So it's a plate, but it's below a plate.
But it's a size that you sort of go, what am I doing with this?
So, what would it be? A side plate?
Maybe,
A
but
plate that you'd have alongside your regular dinner plate, right?
You put a bread roll on or something in a restaurant,
Maybe,
yeah,
but-
okay.
but you
What's
don't
your
need
point? What do
No,
you mean
let
there's
him this is fascinating to me. Because this
What-
is his best attempt now to
Okay.
try and attract investment.
do you know where your mats are at home?
I haven't got mats, don't use them.
Why not?
Because it doesn't bother me. I haven't got any highly polished furniture from the Amazon.
Right, Steve, have you got any sort of...
I've got some coasters and I use the coasters.
And do you know where they are when you need one?
Well, yes, because they're always at the place where I would normally put down a mug of hot tea, i.e.
Yeah.
on a table or a coffee table.
Right, now, do
I
you
keep
find...
if I had a highly polished table from the Amazon, I'd keep my coasters on it.
Yeah, but what I'm saying now is, what happens if you get up with your cup of tea, you're a busy man, right? This
Yeah.
is what I'm saying, we're living in a world where people are busier than
Yeah,
ever.
go on,
Not everybody can sit down and enjoy a cup of tea sat in the same place.
right?
You get up and you might move into another room.
Well, you haven't got a polished table in there from the Amazon, so it doesn't
No,
matter.
but you might be working on another expensive table
Oh, fine, we'll have a coaster there
that
as
has
well
a
then.
computer on.
My question is this. One, does it fit all mugs? Or do I have to buy a special mug to have this special
Well,
bit
we can,
attached?
we can work it whatever way you want. We can either look at the standard size mug and say, let's appeal to everyone, or we can get in touch with some mug company,
How is it clipped?
just like little plastic clips that clip onto it,
Yeah.
and then you clip it off and you clean it. They're dishwasher proof, by the way.
I don't need that
But
at all.
why can't you just make a mug that has something built
built
in the
in.
base of the mug to prevent it from making the mark?
No, I don't
It's
need
only
that.
the heat that makes the mark, isn't it, really?
I just want to say now, that's a pointless idea, and I'm out.
Right, but what about the idea that you've just suggested then, with the mug with the saucer built in?
Yeah.
What about will we do that together?
But that's not your idea, that's my idea.
Yeah, but without my idea, you wouldn't have had that.
Well, but that's absurd. We're having a conversation, I've come up with an idea, now I've got the money.
do you
I've
want-
got the money,
do you
and
want
I'm
him-
going to go off with that idea.
Yeah, you haven't painted it anyway, and it's a rubbish idea, and you couldn't
It's not
paint.
rubbish, because I've just thought as well, that'll be good for putting biscuits on the side as well.
Oh God!
Okay, no,
And
let's
that means we can get rid of that plate that I don't know what
By
to
the
do
way,
with.
now this is broadcast. You can never patent this idea because it's out in public domain.
Rick, why don't we see if there's anyone out there who's willing to invest in this idea? Are you a mug manufacturer? Are you a mug designer? Are you someone who's got any interest whatsoever in this idea? Do you think it's a saleable idea? And more importantly, would it be not great to have a picture of Carl's face on the mat?
Because it's perfectly round.
Perfectly round.
As well, and you'd scold him every time
Yeah.
you,
So there'd be a certain satisfaction in that.
Yeah, well, if Peter Jones is listening, or that Ballantyne fella, or, what's his name?
Any of the big investors on that show, or indeed
yeah.
any investors anywhere, podcast at rickygervais.com. Get in touch. Tell us how we can move forward with this brilliant new idea.
Pathetic.